second. Let me use it. You in the bathroom yet? Okay. I put it in the refrigerator. These are deep in the refrigerator. Yeah, give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yep, yep. Peace, peace. Give me a second, everybody. Peace. We get started. Yep, yep. Just gotta take this call, so give me a minute. Peace, 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 peace. Tap in. Peace, peace, peace. What's that?
Beans.
Beans. Yeah, I'm in the back. I'm in the back right now. Yep. Okay. Yeah, we had a good turnout today. It was pretty cool. I said we had a good turnout today. It was pretty cool. But we about to be live right now though, so yep. Well, yeah, we talked about the yep, the reparations now and the ADOS. Yeah, we just waiting for a few more people to jump on. And hold on one second, everybody. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Let me fix this. Hold on. All right. All right. All right. All right. A couple more seconds. We're gonna get started. I was just waiting for somebody to jump on my other platform, and I'm gonna jump right into it. Okay. Yep. I turned it up for you too. Whoa. All right. All right. I got that set too. So we good. All right. So give it a couple more seconds, man. I'm gonna jump right into it. Have a conversation for everyone today, especially for my brothers and sisters all over the world. all right, all right, all right. My fault. My fault. My fault. I got so much going on. My bad. Put my sage down. Get my camera right. I hope it don't fall on me. If it do, forgive me. But peace, 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 peace. I know it's a little dark back here in the atrium. But just like to talk about a little science today with the world, and just to see where everybody head at. First, I'd like to say peace and love to every single person out here, no matter what you believe in, no matter, no, that doesn't matter to me, as long as your heart is pure. I give you love and peace to you, your family, your children, etc. But we had a good discussion today, man, with a group of people that have different. Hold on. Okay, I got you. That have different political views, and we were able to have a beautiful, beautiful conversation. And that's what I try to have with my people, you know. But we so separated, and we've allowed religion and politics to separate us. And we should have a common denominator, and that's knowing who we are and naming ourselves. You know, and just like when someone talks about a European, a Jew, and they use the phrase anti-Semitic, we should feel the same way when disrespect comes to us. Because if we know our nationality, then that's a form of disrespect. You know, knowing who you are is not a crime. It's the law. It's the constitutional law. When you look up the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, look up what the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15 consists of. It clearly says that you have a right of a nationality and a right to change it. No one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality or the right to change it. And the claim of child replaces the birth certificate. That's the law. The religious rights of the indigenous people, it's the law. House Joint Resolution 75, it's the law. The SF, the SF 181 form, understanding how to fill that out when it comes to the context of ethnicity. Hold on, let me tell my car to calm down. Hold on 1 second. Oh, all right. All right, I'm back. But I just be wanting us as a people to have a discussion because, as I tell everybody, I'm down with reparations. I'm not against reparations, but every misnomer black person must know it's contingent on some variables for any group of people to receive a form of retribution, no matter if it's payment, etc. It's contingent on some things. So when people, and when I say groups of people that make a fuss, and I'm gonna get to what I was saying because I'm adding on to what I was talking about a little earlier, is the common denominator should be we knowing who we are. And that just be my discussion today because somebody has to be crazy if you're using the same books and coming up with a different so-called answer or a different so-called conclusion with the same material. Like, to me, that's insanity. Or anyone that's a philosopher and use their brain. If we all reading the same documents and the same research, and we all come up with a different conclusion, that means our conclusion is arbitrary, especially if we're dealing with a particular type of science. If you're dealing with a particular type of science and everybody come up with a different answer, I mean, that it's based on nothing. And so this whole thing, with people be saying reparations, and then I ask anybody and I ask them with a common mind, tell me how a slave, a misnomer black person that's synonymous to slave, how is a black person going to get some reparations with the so-called reparations now or the so-called Black Now movement? I just be waiting for somebody to tell me that, and not in your feelings, but from a lawful perspective, with understanding, not with anger. Because like I tell everybody in the world, I'm down with reparations, but once again, from a place of love. You explain to me how a misnomer black person is going to get reparations when people be saying that your freedom is connected to your blackness. This is no disrespect. This is just a question as a philosopher, especially when people talk about the black vote and this and that and this and that and the other. And I ask people, well, what's the black agenda? And so when I ask a person reparations now, I say, you know, black people will never get reparations. And that's not disrespectful to misnomer black people or to people that's melanated. These are conversations that you should wanna have, so you can be manufactured, so you can remove the feeling aspect and you can deal with the facts of the matter. So when you're dealing with things, when you're dealing with Eurocentric propaganda or Negrocentric propaganda, you will see where it all begins. And so you'll start dealing with things that can be proven. You'll start dealing with precedent. And so all I do is I act when misnomer black people say reparations now, and I say, well, you know, misnomer black people will never get reparations. I don't care how much marching. I don't care what a so-called attorney you get that's under the bar, a registry. They know misnomer black people is never going to get reparations. They know that going in, but they will volley with particular in a courtroom to make money. It's like when I talk about quick pro quo and things, and when people know the outcomes, or I'll do this for this. In that situation, a lot of outcomes already be known. Deals already be done. And if you know the law, you know the precedent law cases, the doc numbers, the Free Information Act, to be correct when you're talking about things, to bring precedented law cases and doc numbers and the Free Information Act, so you can say, hey, these are things that happened before in these same parameters of the law being broken per se. You understand you understand how that works in that situation? So once again, when individuals say reparations now, I say, okay, we had a beautiful conversation, and I was like, man, wow, and I was like, being back home and speaking to people that know me and running to people that have been following me, on social media for years and seeing me be standing solid, seeing me even when I was going through the ranks of different spiritual houses, because I'm not here to destroy nothing. I'm here to fulfill the sciences. If it's only one book in all the gospels, if you an adapt and you know this, all the books are saying the same thing, then it's nothing to this. You should, and a lot of times with a lot of individuals, especially misnomer black males, with that a lot of testosterone that's being directed the wrong way, it's so much it's so much combat, and that aspect would have to be challenged and used in a proper way. When I talk about narcissistic behavior, when it's used, when it's developed, it can be used for the greater of the good. So back to the point that I'm saying, brothers and sisters, reparations. The first thing I'll be asking brothers and sisters about this reparation things, brothers that be saying, and we need to this, and they be having all these speaking appointments and having all these PhDs to speak on reparations, and they going from college here to there and the other with the pro-black stuff, and I'm black and I'm proud stuff, which that's fine. But once again, if we can have conversations, the first thing I ask a person, do you know the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment? It's just bullets. If a person don't know the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment, they can't even have a conversation on even speaking on some of the, even, how can I say, some of the logistics that go with having reparations for a particular group of people, for their human rights to be infringed upon. And so that's all I ask anybody, from love, all of so the brothers that be proud with the this, and we slaves and we were slaves and this and that and the other. And I ask people brothers to study, and a lot of brothers never read. They follow social media, and I challenge everybody. You get the book called The One World Tartarians. It's by a European. I have the books. I convert them to PDF from my company, mypdfbooks.com. If you come to Sunday school and adapt class, a lot of that stuff I'll be giving away for small donations. When I open my physical temple up again, when my will and Allah will connect again, when we open up our physical temple again, wherever it be, no matter if it be back in my city of Flint, Michigan, or back in AZ, or Vegas, or Sacramento, those are the things that we provide. Full library, workout, job placement, skilled trades, all those things, martial arts, boxing, health and wealth, learning how to cook, learning how to clean your clothes, learning how to balance your money. I teach kids microeconomics, macroeconomics. We teach agriculture. If you want to learn certain specific trades like trading, I know certain individuals that's really professionals in that market that can educate you on those things. Not guarantee you nothing, but educate you on those things for you can make good decisions when it comes down to dealing with your money. And so with this reparation thing and this Black Lives Matter thing, I ask everybody: have you really looked at it and seen where money is going, and who behind certain movements? And then, like you said, if reparations now, and I say this with love to all my misnomer black people, because colored people, really, no disrespect, really has nothing to do with misnomer black people. No disrespect, because I can name a whole bunch of different colored people besides misnomer black people, but that's a whole nother conversation, and we'll have to really be okay to sit down, no matter what banner that we're under, that for us as a people to have a common denominator is knowing who we are lawfully, pertaining to the laws. Because if your freedom is wrapped up in the courts and in the law, then it's a certain way that things have to be done. And it can't be done because we like a particular person, or we like how a person sounds, or we like the color of their dashiki. We can't operate like that. Feelings must be removed, and we must jump behind what's right, what's valid, what can be proven. How? Pertaining to the law. And so once again, I'm always down for the majority because we are the majority. No matter if you call yourself a Hebrew Israelite, a Moor, a Mason, a this or that, whatever. What else? Yamanese, whatever you want to call yourself, for Egypt this or nothing, whatever you call yourself. Then, if we are people and we say we all came here over, say we all came on a slave boat, and we all were some slaves, and we were working for nothing, that's not valid. No matter how a person feel, and a person can be, how can I say it, sincere. A person can be sincere, but on that aspect, when you say all and you put it all in a box, you are sincerely wrong. It can be proven all through the documents, and one of the documents is the One World Tartarians. And then if a person that really understands science, they know this Moorish history, they know this Tartar history, they know why they take a lot of things about you and make it bad. And so when you can have those intellectual conversations with those scholars and even writers that wrote research in the first century, pinpointing their holdings, even the cartographers that showed you what was in the first century, you can't deny it. So to even come with a perspective to say, to be so gung ho with that idea of black, stay in context. You have to know that black is not ancient, and black was not even used to describe ethnicity in the first century. You have to really, from scholarship, you have to really remove your feelings and be like, okay, black was only used to describe when the curtain came down in the theater, like the black curtain. You have to understand that black is not ancient. You have to understand from love that Willie Lynch is not even real. That theory is not even real. It's made up. You gotta start using your brain, your hippocampus, and bring things back to your memory. Why would anybody lynch their chattel? Think about it. And then no one in those times, period, when it was supposed to be a Willie Lynch, no one in that time talked about no Willie Lynch. No slave writer wrote that written. You didn't see Frederick Douglass writing about Willie Lynch in the first century. You didn't see nobody else write about no Willie Lynch in the first century. You didn't see anybody that was writers in that time period wrote about the Willie Lynch. Why? Because it wasn't in that time period. And even when you start seeing how the language and how the linguistics, how the words were written, and the area it was supposed to be in, the demographics of where this area was in, and this area where Lynch came from, and all this, the way words were spelled couldn't even go with what's being said. Why? Because the way that they spelling it is all modern. And if it was pertaining to you, it would have spelled the way that it was spelled back then. So it tell you it's all off. Just like it's another European name, Harold Colander. He wrote a book called The African. Don't y'all know Alex Haley plagiarized that whole book, The African. He got sued and had to pay the European. And then you got people, misnomer black people, that to get on TV and say some Kunta Kinte. The first thing they heard is they ancestor for some Kunta Kinte. And people be saying that, and that's a made up mumbo jumbo. That is so sad. Look at the mental and the psyche of that, and be passed down generations to misnomer black kid, melanated babies in school, and all this stuff is proven wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't people from the continent of Africa that was so-called slave, indentured service, whatever you want to call them, prisoners of war. I'm not saying it wasn't a group of people, but I'm telling you that ain't where all misnomer black people came from. That's just not true. That's just not historical. That's just not historical. That's just not historical. And so what I'm trying to tell is, if we can forget religion and all that right now. Let's put that aside. Let's deal with something that we can agree on. What? Us as a people. So when you start dealing with you as a people, as a group of people, what makes you a nation, what makes you a body of people, it doesn't have nothing to do with no fiat. It has to do with you and your customs. And it has to do with how you believe and a lot of other things, your customs, how you dress, how you believe, all that, your spiritualness, all those things, how you study, how you read, how you work out, how the man treat their women, this and that and the other, how we identify, how by wearing our fez and our turban, all these byproducts that go with identifying. You know what I mean? Of identifying. So us as a people, when a person say reparations now, and you have all these misnomer black people meeting all these places, having all these college kids that's going to school for African American history and all this stuff, and then they talk about slavery, and then you have all these people on these platforms like Cornel West and Tavis Smiley, and I'm just naming the people that was on there. It ain't no disrespect. I think Ti was on there, and it was like a summit, and I think Ti was like, "Well, who are we?" And then I think Kanye West or one of the dudes was like, "Our freedom is connected to blackness." Now that statement will, if you're not really using your brain, it'll remind you of a person that everybody call a grand sheik that use words, and then when you sit with the person, they'll be telling you, I'm just telling you to work in your higher self. So when you hear that, you will be like, what you mean? So my blackness, or in the aspect of a more with a whole bunch of paperwork, and they be paper terrorists, foreign and abroad, and they get themselves in trouble. So if I tell you your freedom is connected to your blackness, what do that mean? I'm gonna tell you it's hogwash. I'm gonna tell you that really don't even make sense. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna say your freedom is knowing who you know. I mean, it's knowing who you are. Your freedom is knowing who you are. What? Which the law say? Which the Constitution say? The Constitution don't say your freedom is connected to your blackness. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You may be talking about your melanin, but everybody have a form of melanin, and just because you have melanin in you don't make you free. You got your mind, and the activity that you do and the work that you do on this earth plane is what allows you to be free. That's what allows you to be free. So when a person use words and not explain them, when they say, hey man, your freedom is connected to your blackness, what does that mean? Because black is an adjective. What you mean my freedom is connected to my blackness? According to science and law, black means deaf. According to science and law, black means deaf. Do you know that? Yes, that's civil mortis. Okay, so I wouldn't want to be in the parameters of the law when it's dealing with my freedoms and be identified as something that's dead in the eyes and in the parameters of the law when it comes down to dealing with you. I would want to be looked at like that for the record. So for the record, Your Honor, I would have to say some things. Some things will have to be for the record. What? For the record. When a lot of people be talking about their name in caps, this, that, and the other, listen, if you be educated right, you will calm down on those things. I'm talking about doing things the right way. So when we operating and when misnomer black people come with this reparations now thing, and you have all these misnomer black people marching, and you have all these attorneys, and then you have all these people on the internet with all these letters, and they talking about reparations, and all I'm saying is black people not going to get no reparations. Identifying as black, identifying as Negro, identifying as African American. That's what I'm saying. No matter how nobody feel. And I can say I say that anywhere. I've done it in academia. I've showed people the only people that have got paid for a misnomer black person is the person that created them. Who? Your master. These are facts. These are facts. That's the only person. Or the only group of people that's going to get paid for something that's synonymous to slaves. The only one, because the Creator didn't create no slave. The Creator created man in His image, her image, in His image. So you can't be, when you identify as a Negro, Black, or color, African American, that's on you. Even the 1599 Geneva Bible calls you a Moor, but it calls you a Black Moor because in the beginning the world was what, dark, and in that area and in that geographical area in the biblical scriptures they're talking about a certain part of Africa. You know, we're not talking about the Amazigh, excuse me, the Amagis or the Amagines, the Amagines, excuse me. I might be pronouncing it wrong. The G might be silent, but it's Amazigh. And they're also known as their endonym, you know? And then it means free men, the Imagazines or the Imagazines, the Imazighen means free men. And so I'm just showing and connecting dots. I'm just, and that's what we're doing here when we have these discussions. We should be able to have these discussions and be like, wait a minute, somebody wasting our time. Yes. I understand people be passionate, and I understand individuals can say something good, here and there. I get that. But when you're so gun-ho on that black thing, you have to ask a person why they so gun-ho on that black stuff, and they say they educated. Because clearly something was wrong. And it's no disrespect. It's no disrespect. It's no disrespect. Anybody come with that? We're black and this. Okay, and I ask them, do they know the 13th? What was the 13th Amendment? They don't know. What was the 14th Amendment? They don't know. What was the 15th Amendment? They don't know. What are manumissions? They don't know. That's a problem. And we're just talking about prerequisites. I haven't even dealt with advanced civics yet. I'm still dealing with elementary wisdom. When you ask people what's the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, I'm like Khalid Muhammad. I shoot from the lip, not the hip. Everybody should know this. If we know rap songs and we Moors, we should know these. These are prerequisites. What's the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15? I don't know. See, that ain't that's for you to know. What's the House Joint Resolution 75? That's for you to know. What's the religious rights of the indigenous people? That's for you to know. That's for you to know. What's the real consular courts? That's for you to know. So you can stand strong and be like, yep, okay, a lot of people just talking this stuff, man, we gonna get in trouble, yep, because they quoting something that's not valid. It's just like trying to defend the law with a lie and knowing you lying. And then when I prove that's wrong, but you're not gonna go to court and stand behind that. You're gonna be like, Sheik showed that right there is not right, man. You're gonna get everybody messed up. Man, you go stand behind it. Why? Because that's just how you feel. That's just how you feel. You should never operate on how you feel. You should operate with the facts of the matter. Operate with the facts, man, at all times. So I ask my brothers and sisters, I tell them clearly, I'm down with reparations. I tell this all day. I said it earlier, but I said, when you identify as Negro, Black, or color, or African American, you will never, ever, 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 ever get no reparations. I promise you that. I don't care how passionate you are. I don't care if you hire Ben Crump. I don't care if y'all march again and all that. And if they come with a whole bunch of old stuff, I'm gonna tell you that's folly, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. That's when I'm gonna be with my bullhorn. And nobody gonna be able to stop me then. That's when I'm gonna be on the corner with my bullhorn. I'm gonna be the fact checker. And it ain't coming from no disrespect. It's coming from, I'll be telling you, people be having motives because they think misnomer black people is stupid. They think the average Negro is stupid. Why? I've heard them. I done been behind doors. I done heard them. And the European gonna let Negroes, no disrespect, roll with it. If your own people to stand up and lie to you and tell you folly and tell you Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda and laugh at you and behind closed doors be like, man, look, these Negroes will take anything, then what? Nobody with no education, with no PhD in history or education, will sit and have a real intellectual conversation with the facts, because the facts are gonna speak for themselves. It's like a lion. It's like a lion. It won't take no hour. It won't take no 2 hours. It won't take no 3 hours. It'll take a few bullets, to say why things is not based on your blackness. And I get what you're saying, but you have to explain what you're saying. You have to, in that context, man, it need to be explained. What is your freedom connect? What is your freedom connected to? Everybody should know what their freedom is connected to and what it's contingent on. Everybody should know that. Everybody should know. And when we know that, when we operate that, it'll stop a lot of wasteful panels. It'll stop a lot of people just paying to be, how can I say it, groupies. Ooh, did you see them and all that? Saying the same thing over and over and over because they know it's never going to happen. And then these individuals would, listen, I use this analogy a plethora of time with my students and my members and my muftis and the rest of my ministers. I say, a person is never going to get you with a whole lie. You're going to see a whole lie if it's coming like that. It's going to be like rat poison per se. How? It got to be something that convince you to even entertain what is being said. It got to be something to trigger some type of dopamine in your hippocampus for you to even be attracted to that nonsense. So it got to be in the aspect or in the analogy of rat poison. It got to be a percentage of that poison in there that you think is food. And the same thing with how we eat. You understand what I'm saying? When in that situation, you have to understand what I'm saying in that situation. Why? Because that's basic elementary. It's like, that makes sense. That's logical. I can agree with that. Because at the end of the day, once we done, we want to walk out the house in synchronicity. We don't want to walk out the house not brothers and sisters. This is the whole thing of doing what we doing. What? To walk out the house as family, to walk out the house as a nation. That's the only way we're going to get things done. A nation is contingent on us agreeing. A nation is contingent on our customs. It don't have nothing to do with the fiat or the type of money that we use to barter or etc. For us to be a nation, it has to do with us understanding who we are and then agreeing on some things that make us what? A people. That make us a people. Peace, Moso. And so these conversations these last week has been amazing because it been right now it's the politic time. It's the voting time, And I love these times of the year because I love having these conversations, and I love to hear people's perspective. And when I speak, I just challenge you and want you to use your brain. Because if you have children, you want your children to make the best decision. What? If they're in a community, you have to break things down to them in the right perspective because you want the best for your child. It ain't nan person that identify as a moral here that don't want their kid to go to university or be the best or so-called have the best job or so-called have your own business and all that, whatever. But if you never ran a business, if you haven't planted that in your child head, then you know and I know what's going on with that child life and yours. So let's just be honest when we have these situations and these conversations. When people be saying, oh, this, that, and the other, another, yeah, it's easy to say that. But is it really happening? So I ask all my brothers and sisters, even if you are Moorish American, that means that you what? That you what? Participate in the affairs of what? Of Americans. You have to understand when I say willing obligor. It ain't nobody on here that live in a neighborhood that have a house in the community that's not paying taxes. If you say you not, you a lie. It ain't no truth in you. And that's the thing that I dislike about a lot of these Moors that to get on here and say, oh, yeah, I live here. And then I look you up, free information. You stay in a neighborhood and to get on here and lie to people and tell them that you don't pay no taxes. And if you ain't paying no taxes on your houses, man, your houses will be up for foreclosure. And you know it. Hell, the garbage man might not even come pick your trash up. So I'm talking about understanding some things, man, and being logical on what we doing as a people. So when people say, well, reparations and you ain't down with reparations, I said, yeah. But once again, I tell people, now let's deal with the law. Will black people ever get reparations? My homeboy said, get the likes up. They're like, if get the likes up. We say some of the same people on here, Sheik. Do they support? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's what I don't know what people do. I'm just gonna keep going, man. That's all I'm gonna do. That's all I'm gonna do. But I ask everybody on here, especially they wives. People be having wives. Moors be having their wives and things, and might not even be listening to them. And I say, okay, well, let's be honest, because a lot of men be on here trying to tell people at work about what they are and what they trying to do and all this, but not at home. So, do your wife know what you know, or even concerned with what you know, or even want to investigate what you know to have some input, to maybe even add some value to you or say, babe, I don't think you should be moving like that. You know, when it comes to these situations, because right now a lot of Moors don't know how to operate. I've heard a plethora of Moors, especially I think I know every what 10 years the census come out. So and a lot of Moors say they don't even feel the census out. And I say, okay, well, why not? I ask everybody why not. Because if you say you don't do something, it's a reason that you don't. You just don't do it just because. You just don't do something just because, oh, I met this more and they said we don't do this. We do this. So you just gonna stop doing everything. Why? Because somebody said and they're not gonna tell you why. That's not wise. Wise men don't do those things. Wise men don't do those things. And then if you don't understand how to fill out documentation, if you don't understand what to do and how to do it, then that's on you. A person say, "Oh no, well, you don't do this," and I ask them why. And these people but they wise be doing it. They be work. These people be working jobs and have this whole other life, and they don't even be that in real life. You will see them in real life. They won't have no attire on. You will see them dressed up like that on the internet. All you'll never see them with affairs on in their everyday life. Never, never turban, none of that. Never, because it's not real. And it's the same thing with a Negro, black, and color African American when you start dealing with the laws, when you start dealing with the facts of the matter. You will be like, man, this is true. You'll be like, this is true. I'm not talking about the stuff you see on TV and you see a lot of these so-called Moors, and a lot of them are nothing but sovereign citizens, which are a oxymoron. You can't be a sovereign and a citizen at the same time. And you see a lot of these people be criminals. They be saying they some foreign national, which is an oxymoron again, because none of these Negroes ain't never left their neighborhood. None of them don't have a passport. So it's so much misunderstanding that a lot of these people have. And some of these young brainwashed people be sincere, but they be sincerely wrong. And in the real world, you cannot use the concept of brainwashing. That's only in the military. And these is facts. And so when people be coming with these with adults And when I get you in a court of law, I say there's no excuse of not knowing the law in a court of law. That's for you, adult. Just like when you have a whole bunch of money and you got an accountant or a money manager and your tax is not being paid, but you go to prison and everybody be saying, telling you, oh man, oh I got a tax preparer. Well, okay, we know that, but that still go on you. Why? You know why they say that? Because you're making the money. So if that's the case, so if I'm making the money, I don't need no money manager. I don't need nobody personal. I need to pay my own things. I need to know how much money coming in, and I need to pay my taxes. Why? Think about it. Because if I got a tax preparer and my taxes not being paid, that mean what? They hustling me. How the hell can I go to prison and I got a tax preparer? Fat Joe said he went to prison for tax evasion because he didn't pay his taxes, but he had a tax preparer. So what that mean? And you trusting them. So what that mean? Somebody's stealing. I can go down the line of athletes to show you how they got hustled by people that's supposed to be watching their monies. But back to the matter at hand. So once again, brothers and sisters, we have to wake up, man. Just like people be talking about the black vote. And then I started laughing. I'm like, okay, I'm like, here we go again. They're like, well, we got the black vote, the black vote. And I say, what's the black vote? And I say, the black vote. They say, well, we black people, we Democrats. And I tell everybody at one point we weren't Democrats in history. Do you know that? Well, I didn't know, but we're in that time now. Okay, that's fine. I get that. Okay, let's continue with the bill. Okay, the black vote, the black vote. Oh, okay. And I said, so what's the black agenda? I'll wait. I ask people this, what's the black agenda? Well, it ain't no black. Well, what you mean? It just for everybody agenda. Oh, now everybody. But certain groups, when you put people in groups, they have certain things, and if those things are not accounted for, then they coming to holler at you. And the only way you're gonna get their vote and their people vote and that majority of the vote that you need to sway your vote, it's contingent on you making some things happen. So if people use the concept today of we black and we Democrats and Democrats and the black vote, then what the Democrats got going on? Because clearly, if you understand things, and it ain't no disrespect, because I watch, I'm into politics. I watched before Kamala was vice president and all the other positions, and a lot of the work is free information. It's free information to look up, but when people say, well, what you gonna do for black people and people was like, well, what's she gonna do for black people? And it was ags. And she said, nothing. She said, nothing. She said nothing. She said nothing. And then look at the psychosis of this. But then on the flip side, here it is, Joe Biden go on Charlemagne the God and them show. I forget what it's called. What's the name of Charlemagne the God them? Breakfast Club. I think that was the Breakfast Club, or it might have been Charlemagne the God on show. He get on there and say, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. The irony. I mean, it's so funny to me. And then people would be like, the black agenda, black people. I'll be like, listen. I'll be like, brothers and sisters, I don't know how you want me to say this. Even with my Al Islam misnomer black Muslim, black Masons, but I just say to my black Muslim brothers, no disrespect. I got love for Farrakhan. I love that man. I got love for any brother in the flesh that came and brought a good for people. But when you go to the Million Man March in '95, and that's when a lot of people heard about the Willie Lynch. A lot of people. I'm not saying all, but I say a lot of people. I'm telling you, that's some of the most B to the S I ever heard in my life. And I'm telling you, he had to, and I'm not saying that, saying he did. I'm saying it. I'm in my humble mind, I'm saying he must have known that the average misnomer black person is so ignorant that they not gonna know that Willie Lynch stuff is fugazi. So I could talk this Willie Lynch stuff and say why misnomer black people is not this, is not that, and say some Willie Lynch stuff based on nothing. And then you have rappers rapping about it. Talib Kweli, some Willie Lynch stuff. And I'm telling you, Willie Lynch stuff ain't even real. It's Negro-centric propaganda. I'm telling you that from scholarship. I don't care how no one feel. And most people heard of Willie Lynch at the Million Man March in 1995. A lot of men did. A lot of men did. You know, they did. And I don't be meaning to disrespect no one, but then when people be saying the white man, the devil, and all this, and I be saying, well, why? And then I say, well, have anybody in your organization, since you say the white man, the devil, have any of your people study white man science like a Scientology? And have any of your people deal with Ron L. Hubbard, and Dianetics? And people be all getting mad and all that. And I'd be like, why? I'd be like, what are you mad about? Like, it ain't nothing to be mad about. Like, why are you mad? And so you start looking at things. You start seeing who have a hand on keeping you stuck in a certain position. Because certain people is going to get paid. Just like when we talk about the Big Six. The Big Six, when you talk about all those preachers that split them couple of pennies to keep you stuck in an aspect of being identified as a slave. And this is no slander to no one. This is history. And so when I ask anybody on here, because a lot of brothers and sisters on here, they're wise, clearly don't believe how a lot of the men believe. Or a lot of people on here don't believe how I believe, and that's fine, especially politics and things and all that. But when people say we black and you put everybody in that aspect, and I tell you I'm not black. I know what I know my nationality. I know my race and my status. You know, I'll tell you who I am. But for my brothers and sisters that say they black and we black people and we black this and we black that and the black vote, my next question is, what is the black agenda when it come down to the black vote per se? Would people be saying the black this and the black that? And I say, well, every group of people have an agenda. The other people that's homosexual, the LGBT, you know, with love. I'm saying it with love. They have their own platform. They have their own agenda. Every group of people have their agenda. The European Jews have their agenda. You say anything that's not in the line to what their belief, they'll say is anti-Semitic. But see, I deal with all the Jewish texts. That's why I be saying, anybody that talk things not from scholarship and basing it off of theory and so-called conspiracy theory per se, which I can care less about. I'm gonna use your research and your books and your scholarship, and I'm gonna quote your books to tell you where certain phrases come from, to tell you where certain words come from and who created them, and use your books to say what you are pertaining to your science. And if I can use your science and your science agree with what I'm telling you and what I'm demonstrating, or whatever dissertation that I'm trying to deliver to the group of people, it's nothing that you can be mad about. Especially when it comes to this history. Especially when it comes to this, understand this so-called reparation thing that people will woe you to sleep with. Oh, we black. But black what? Black is an adjective. I understand you can have a black cup, a white cup, an orange cup. So you won't say this is a black, this is an orange. You will say this is a black cup. But what is it? It's a cup. And that's some of the elementary things that need to be explained consistently over and over when we play these games, these politic games, and we don't like to talk about them. And I said, you should talk about this because in our households, look what we can't talk about: religion. We can't talk about politics. Sure can't talk about money and support. Those three things is debilitating, which it shouldn't be. Those should be the three things that we should be talking about in the womb. You see? Those should be things that as a people, as families, we should be able to talk about, especially with politics and with understanding these things and not using it in a manner to belittle people. Because I've heard people talk outlandish to their own kind. I've heard Europeans talk outlandish to misnomer black people because I work corporate. You know, I've done a lot of things, and I live in Arizona. So my whole thing, my question be for both parties, because like I said, as I'm adding on from last night, I mean from this morning, and that's why anybody got something to say, buzz in if it's pertaining to what I'm saying. When I ask my colleagues that might feel whatever way about voting Democrat, and they say, oh, they don't want to vote for a woman or whatever, or they say Kamala Harris is not qualified. Well, you can't say she's not qualified because I know she has an education. So her education qualifies her. Now, is she good at what she do? That can be argued. Now remember, I don't have a dog in a fight. I'm here just making things for we can talk. Is she qualified based off her education? Yes. Is she qualified? Absolutely, she is. But you got to remember, in this arena, it's not based off your qualifications per se. Why? It's popularity. Why? Look at it, who your running mate can be. Your running mate can be a person that just might can be a business person. I just talk about even the city of Dalton, when you got the Miss Tiffany Hannard, the misnomer black woman that just dragging that city to the ground. She don't have no history of. She just ran a burger joint called Bob's Burgers or some shit. Excuse my candor. That stay in the context of what I'm saying. And so a lot of people say, well, they say, well, the economy was better when Trump was in office because they got the PPP loan. I'm like, dude, like you can't. That should be your reason why you vote for Trump. And then I ask you, did you get a PPP loan? And then if you did get a PPP loan, I hope you ain't I hope it wasn't illegal. I hope you didn't defraud the government and took some money from some people that needed it. And that's why a lot of people couldn't get it because what? A lot of people that didn't need it got it. You know, like I didn't know I could get it, until after the fact. And I was like, man, no, I was like, I'm okay. I'm just starting, I'm good. But I was eligible for it. And so now when we talk about this concept of black vote, and we Democrats and we black, because a lot of our parents are voting Democrat. And I say, okay. And then they say, yeah, we black. And I say, well, what's the black agenda? And then out of their mouth, they'll say it's not one. Or they'll say, well, we want the police not to be brutal to misnomer black kids. Well, that should be a no-brainer. But what's the black agenda? That's something that we can sit up here and say we want, but that ain't nothing on paper. Ain't nobody sat down with the politician and say, okay, for our vote and for your politicians, for y'all to get this vote, we need this ETC, blah, 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 blah. It ain't happening. It don't happen because it can't happen. And then it almost be like you have to bring up charges on yourself. Why? And I be telling people, think about it. Because black have no standing in law. If you think about that and you remove your anger and anybody coming to you just that's talking with that black stuff, as we've been doing for years and for decades, and having all these songs and having all these marches and talk about reparations now, and we need to do this and do that. I'm telling you, we're not getting no reparations. And when it comes to politics, we can't even have an honest conversation and sit down and deal with law and policy and say, okay, well, let's see for the last 10 years, what have this party done for misnomer black people? Let's see for the last 10 years, because all a person's going to do is say a status over a number. Well, we Democrat because this for the regular working man, and we Republican because they rich. But I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough. So then, say if you become one of the class that's rich, then what? You switch to be in that class and say, well, I ain't a Democrat no more. Why? Because I'm rich. No, I think it's the way you live and you look at law and policy and see what's going on. And so I ask brothers and sisters, what do you know what this person have done for them to get your vote? What are some of the things that you're rocking with? Is it, oh, well, I don't like how this person speaks. I don't I don't like how this person speaks or what they say on TV and this, that, and the other, or this, or whatever it may be, which I understand. But when it comes down to things that's very important, I ask everybody, number one, remove your personal feelings. And if you can't remove your personal feelings for the greater good, that's a problem. Not just like if you got a professor and he's A1, he's gonna teach you everything, but the professor might be tough, and you be like, well, he's tough, but everybody say, so what? He tough, but once you done with him, you're gonna be ready for anything else, and he's gonna be a asset for you. You gotta rock. You gotta rock with what's right. And so when I be asking all my brothers and sisters, and they say, "Well, Sheik, are you a Democrat?" I say no. They say, "Are you a Republican?" I say no. I say, I told you, I don't have a dog in that fight because I know how that works. But if it come down to the come down, and us as a people, and we really have an agenda, and we really done went and said, hey, we not no misnomer, Negro, black, and colors, and we a people, and we gonna cast our vote like this, boom, and this is how we gonna move for the greater good of us as a people together. Then I rock. Then I'm rocking with it all the way, because I'm in it for the good of the people. Remember that. And so, like I said, when I even and it be so funny when I'm home, how I get beckoned for to go to other people's churches and things. When I tell people I got my undergrad from a school called Clear University. It's in Howell, Michigan. Peace, Noble, peace, Thurman, and I just be having these conversations with us because there's so much that we can do for our youth. I mean, but like I don't be knowing. Like I said, sometimes you be damned if you do and damned if you don't. You know, like we can have so much, especially when it talks about voting and casting your vote. Like here it is, I'm home, and I know a lot of professors at Mott and things, and I go back up there and see counselors, and they was like, "Man, I would love to see you as the mayor." They're like, "You will make a difference." When different nationality people say that to me, and they say they're like, "Well, you just letting people know who you are as a people and teaching your family and the people that look like you your history. You have every right to do that. It's in the Constitution." It's like you're not out here being a nuisance or trying to overthrow nothing. That's not what I do. But I'm here to show my brothers and sisters that you're not Negro color or black or African American. You're not a misnomer. You're not nothing that's synonymous to a slave. I can show you that all through history, I can show you the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment. what manumissions consist of. Why you shouldn't even use those terms that denote to slavery. And when people talk about reparations, they know absolutely that no person that identified as Negro, Black, Color, African American would never ever get reparations. Why? Because the only person that created a slave or a black person is the master, and the only body or a group of people that's going to get any payment or any form of reparation for black people, which are slaves, is the individual or the group of body that created the slave. And that's just a fact. And nobody can, and why would we sit up here and argue back and forth and be like, well, I don't believe that, that it's a fact. I'm telling you, you're not black. It ain't no such thing as no ancient black. Let me, and we try, yeah, let me, hold on, man, because I got to, like I say, I'm not gonna deal with none of that stuff today. When people just jump on your page and just be saying trust Jesus and all that, and I'll be like, yeah, I get all that, and I don't have time for nobody to be trolling. I just don't. It just shows the aptitude of a lot of adults, and a lot of times those are bots. That won't have a face or nothing like that, and I try to just distract you and just say things. But like I said, I block those individuals. You know, I block those certain things, and I challenge my brothers and sisters to, you know, share these things and have these conversations. Like right now, everyone is gonna vote. It's political time. Everybody is voting. Everybody is voting. And then I don't tell a person how to vote, but I do have these discussions with people. Like I know a lot of people that's voting for Trump. I know a lot of brothers that's been in the streets, hustling or may not be, how can I say, informed to what they should be informed to, but they'll say, man, they vote for Trump because this, that, and the other. He a good businessman, and they'll say about the Kamala, F that B, boo, boo, woo, 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 she locked people up, and this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah. I say, okay, but everybody done some crazy stuff. This the crazy thing about it. These type of individuals would be saying that, but they be riding with a killer. Look at the psychosis of that. They'll be saying that, oh, she locked somebody up, but you ride next to a person that just blew somebody's brains out. Or you cool with this person that done blew these people's brains out. And every music you talk about is genocide. But then in the same breath, this is what we say. And so I think we have to really take a good look at what we do and how we operate. And so I just ask my brothers and sisters, do we know what we're doing when we're doing it? Especially about voting and about this Black Lives Matter things and this reparations now. I said, it don't matter how loud a dog can bark. When you get in the arena of the law and you deal with somebody that's unbiased and they say, bring me the facts, bring me all the facts of the case, and then I can rest my case with no rebuttal, you're going to have to rock with what I'm saying. Why? Because that's the only way that we can be free. We must restore ourselves back to our original state before we were tampered with. That's restoration. It's just almost like the analogy of a lot of people, they'll put rims and bang on their car, Brother Tipton, instead of restoring their car, fixing it up back to its original state before it was tampered with, off the showroom floor. You give it all its original value, per se, or not even per se. Understanding this, that You can't be black. According to science and law, black mean death. Look it up. Look it up right now. Anybody tell me, look up what, in Latin, look up the word civil mortis or civiltis mortis and tell me what it means. Tell me what it means. And so then you put anything you got black, put dead in front of it. So you got black bank. So you got black bank, dead bank. You got black love, dead love. You got black church, dead church. You got black masons, dead masons. I mean, what we talking about? It's no disrespect. Man, listen, I operate under the law. I tell everybody, we a nation of laws. We're a nation of laws, and I'm all in the Constitution. And I can defend myself how? Through the Constitution. I can defend myself through the Constitution. I've done it a plethora of times. Anybody say that a Moors, identifying as a Moor, and you operate right, and your heart is pure, and you can't be who you are, you a lie. I'm in a red state in Arizona. Everybody done seen me for years. Everybody know how I operate. You know? And I'm telling you that you can't be Negro, black and colored, or African American. All those are misnomers. Those are synonymous to slave. And in order for us to give those slave casts back, we have to give those slave those titles back. We have to. Man, I start showing you ancient books that the European wrote in history saying that the Negro is a beast. That's why Noble Drew Ali was so important, because he told us about our nationality. Marcus Garvey gave us the idea. So when I deal with the concepts or analogies and precepts per se, Marcus Garvey was John the Baptist. Marcus Garvey in Moral Science was John the Baptist, just like in the Bible. How? He gave us the idea. He gave us the idea of having our own flag. But just like the Bible said, someone greater was going to come. It was talking about the Messiah. And in the same way, in the Moorish Quran, when in the introduction and in the front pages, you see Marcus Garvey, they say that Marcus Garvey is what? The harbinger. The harbinger. You know what the harbinger is? The person that come and give you the idea to set the table. But someone's going to come after that to what? To come bring everything to the table, feed you and everything, show you how to feed yourself. He's going to come. He's going to come to give you the idea of having your own flag. When people, with no disrespect, when you jump behind that black stuff and people be playing a game with like, oh, they Marcus Garvey's. And I say, and they be having behind some Marcus Garvey flag. But that Marcus Garvey flag is only old as what? Marcus Garvey. It's not ancient. It's no disrespect. How? Because Marcus Garvey created the flag. It's no disrespect. We using our brain right now. We're not disrespecting anything. We're using our brains. Understand that. We're using our brains. Just like when I use the analogy of one nationality, many cultures. If your culture have a banner, so say if you are I use you, Brother Tipton. Say if y'all got your own banner, but then you understand that you are more too. Ain't nobody telling you to put your banner down, or your culture, or who your grandma and them, or your tribe. We telling you to have your tribal flag, or your coat of arms, or your family crest, which is your last name. Look it up what I'm telling you. Look up your Tipton last name. Look up your coat of arms family crest. We telling you to rock your family crest. Just like I rock my family crest on my jacket, and my dad too, because I'm a Goodman. But you a Moore. We not telling nobody to erase nothing. So when you know this, and when you have a clear understanding, and when it's brought to you the right way, everybody be like, oh, even the European Mason is gonna know if you operating right. If you operating right, because all they doing is portraying Moors. It's just like the Whigham Party. When you see the Europeans dressed up and they got the wig on, the Whigham Party in the courtroom, they're dressing light. They're in a likeness. And when the European Mason wear the fez, and when the black Mason wear the fez, no disrespect, they wearing it in clandestine. Even when a European misnomer European woman wearing a fez, which they the DAR, which the marriage license came from, which is a civil lawsuit, is the Daughters of America Revolution. It's no disrespect, which they call it Eastern Stars. And you see, they pentagram is turned a little bit. How? To the horns up. It's not turned in the form of Allah. What? Arm, leg, arm, head. No disrespect. No disrespect to no one. I'm just telling you like it is. And all these people keep you where? In bondage. With what? Titles of black. Keep you in suffrage. These is facts. And so when we're dealing with these things, and when people say that we're black, and I say, oh, now we playing a dangerous game, and then all these pro-black people, no disrespect, they vote Democrat, and I say, well, what's the black agenda? For everybody saying, well, we got to cast our black vote, and black people vote Democrat. So that means, is it a black agenda? And they people say, yeah, this and that. Well, tell me what it is. I have the right to ask. If you want to try to put me in a category as being black, and I just told you I'm not black. I love all colors per se, black, white, orange, purple, green, but I know black has no standing in law. So tell me, for people saying that they black and we vote Democrat, what's the black agenda for the vote? That's all I ask. And I ask everybody, I throw it back at everybody else. I say, what's some law and policy for the black agenda right now? What is it? And just don't tell me no break on no taxes. Don't tell me that. Tell me something else that you know. And I bet you the average person can't tell you nothing. And I bet you if you're truthful, especially if your parents are honest, they're going to say it ain't one. And I'll be like, okay, now then I can talk to you. But then we have to start talking about some other things, and why you feel that way, because then it's going to start getting personal. And I say, okay, but we have to agree on some things. What? That you know, that I know, that you know, it's no agenda. It's no black agenda. And once a person admit that, I can talk to you because I know it's not one. You can't sit up here and tell me that. And no black Democrat person can sit up here in the right mind frame and tell me what's the black agenda and what's going to be done for black people. Because the individuals that's voting said that they really don't have nothing specifically agenda for blacks. And y'all know that's true. Y'all know that's true. The individual said it's nothing specifically that she have for blacks. Now, as people in general, Democrats in general per se, whatever, that have to do with it. And then when you start dealing with semantics or different other aspects, when they say for colored people, the colored people ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't no disrespect. Or minority, when everybody was talking about how the bank was targeting, what bank was that? Bank of America? And they were getting those minority loans, them home minority loans, and everybody was geeked and all this. And I said, anything that's attached to that, I don't want it. And then when I said, let's look at the numbers, let's see how many so-called people got it that was on the internet, talk about, you can get this, they got this for minorities. And I said, okay, well, how many of y'all got it? That's all I be asking people. Because if you got something, if you know how to get it, then you should bring it back to the people and say, these are the stipulations of X, Y, and Z. This is how this should be done. Why? Because you see your brother trying to do what you're trying to be done, and they need to be done, and they need to be done across the board. So you should be able to come back with the information. Where? In the community to say, hey man, this is how this need to be done. So once again, I'm telling my brothers and sisters, you can go to the city hall in the city of Flint and act with a good voice. What were we called before the Civil War? It's paperwork to tell you that we are Moorish Americans. It's documents and a whole bunch of other states. Our proclamation declaration was signed in 2012 by a lot of mayors. Hell, the Moorish Science Temple of America here in Flint, Michigan, on Martin Luther King, kitty corner from one of the, I forget the name of that elementary school, but it's on ML King, one of the oldest spiritual houses in the city. You know, been there. And I don't want nothing bad to happen to it, but if it come to foreclosure, I'm going to have it. And it's no disrespect. And so I just be asking people this. Okay, what's the black agenda? Yep, Thurman said by bunch. Yep, see, Thurman know what I'm talking about. And then Thurman, listen, oh man, it's a brother. Okay, I'm glad you're on here, Thurman, my homie in Flint. So it's a brother in Flint. I got to find his name. You might know him. He got a church in Saginaw, and he a Freemason. When brothers be acting like they don't be knowing what be going on, and when people be seeking me out on the sneak, the brother from Flint, Michigan, I think he went to Northern. I got his information because he hit me up, and he like, well, you know, I'm a Mason. I said, I already know. And he was like, everything you be saying is true. He like a lot of stuff that he don't know because he only 32 degrees, and he in Saginaw right now, and he a Baptist preacher. I'm telling you, this is what I be telling people when people be acting like they don't be knowing and this and that and the other. And you see the brother all on his page with his regalia on. Well, if you're a Mason, the lower house is Christianity. When you get to the higher house, it's Islam. And the password is Assalamu alaikum. These is facts. These is facts. That's why you're never gonna see a black Mason wear the fez. They are gonna wear it in secrecy. They are gonna wear it in their meetings, in clandestine, because they got a potentate. But in the biblical scriptures, the only oath you're supposed to take is to God. Like none of my movies, we don't take an oath. We wear our fez freely. Freemasons, they tassel is pinned down. They tassel don't turn. I'm telling you, when I be seeing these people in real life, they know what I be saying is valid, you know. And I don't bring no harm to no one because I understand brotherhood, but me as a scientist, it's a higher level of science that I'm dealing with because 32 and 33 degrees is snowman wisdom. That's when in meteorology, when water freezes, it's no wisdom. And those group of people will continue to push that black perspective. You know, I don't even believe, he said, I don't even believe black is in the Bible, you know, because you're not black. And then a lot of the older Bible, they call you Ethiopian. 1599 Geneva Bible, they call you a blackamoor. Look it up. Look up the Geneva Bible and look up in Jeremiah. It says, could the blackamoor, could a leopard change his spots? Something like a blackamoor. But everywhere in the Bible where it say African or in older Bibles when it say Ethiopian, it say blackamoor. This all I be asking people because I'm with my people, you know. I'm with my people, but we have to be lawfully correct. We can't operate just how we feel. We can't let a group of people that might be on the internet or say something good and promulgate a black agenda. And then when it comes down to politics, they pro-black, but then they don't like the blackness. I thought you would be so pro-black to where you would be pro-black by default. You would think. I'm just saying. I don't know. I could be wrong. And I said, but I'm not a know-it-all. I'm challenging my brothers and sisters to use our brain. Any person that, especially a male, let's just say us brothers, that got any sense, that's pushing this black perspective and that's educated, something got to be wrong with your mental. Because we should be way past this crayon box by now. Am I right? Do anybody agree with what I'm saying? As we closing, anybody got anything they want to add? Because like I said, we don't. That's the thing that we don't talk about as men. Us men, after all the stuff we go through, it's like I saw a skit where a woman took her husband's shoes and they switched shoes. She's like, "Oh, let me wear your shoes. It ain't nothing." She put his shoes on, saw all the stuff that he go through. Want to be the protector, want to do all this. There's some things that a man might not be in a situation to do, but those things that he worked and aspired to do. Because a lot of good men want to be the everything, you know. And when he put her shoes on, she was scared of a lot of things. And so it just show you, it just shows that protecting and that cover aspect. And so when I'm saying what I'm sharing with my brothers and sisters, don't y'all want to be correct on some things, man? Don't we want to get to the point where we see each other and we love on each other, and we check trolls, we check people, be like, wait a minute, just like European Jews do, and they shut you down with that anti-Semitic stuff, and I can show you where that concept came from. I can show you where that concept came from. Just like I can show you, I can get they in the Jewish encyclopedia and show you who they call themselves. No one can be upset with what I'm saying, because I'm not going to come from anger. I'm going to use the science. I'm going to show you where the whole concept of anti-Semitic came from. I'm going to show you what they call themselves, what type of Jews they call themselves. I'm going to deal with Nasser. I think Nasser was the second president of Egypt, when he said the reason why Israel is cursed because God's people left black and came back white. See, these is facts, and facts, they might be, they might hurt, but it's just what it is. It was in a Time magazine, and everybody know I'm telling the truth. Everybody know I'm telling the truth. I got the Time magazine. That's what I'm telling you. I got a lot of history. And that's why I be saying, man, when people be talking, I remember, man, people don't remember. I had a teacher named Mr. French at Longfellow. Was that Mr. French? I think that was Mr. French at Longfellow. Did he teach German? But I can't, it might have been him, but I had a teacher that taught Sprechen die Deutsch. And that's German. And I used to study it a little bit. And so, I met this student when I was going to GCU getting my dual master's degree, and he was all the Holocaust. And I was like, yeah, I said, yes, that was something that was recorded that we saw with the eye. But when we dealing with it, I got this Time magazine, and it just blew my mind what Hitler was talking about, who he was calling a Baffer, and who he was calling God's people. Had pictures in there. And I asked, and a lot of the stuff is in German. And when you transfer it to German, to English, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your freaking mind. No disrespect. It'll blow your mind, and you probably can't even get the book no more. I got the book right in there. If I show the cover of the book, they'll probably ban me. Like when I held this other book up. It's a book, I got this book, it's called, what's the name of the book? I can't get the name of the book, y'all. But it's showing how they lynching all the Asiatic people all through history. I forget the name of the book. And when I was live, I told everybody, I said, hey, they're going to ban me. I'm going to be off for 30 days. If somebody know the name of the book right now, if any of my muftis on here, type the name of the book on here. And sure enough, boom, they banned me for like 30 days. Because you can't show the truth, but you can show booty and breastises and etc. But you can't show history. I'm telling y'all, man, it's all I'm saying is, y'all, it's our own people. That's what I'm trying to say. It's our own people today that be acting like that's keeping us in bondage, that's playing a game. How it is, I'm telling you, I know it's a Freemason that I know, that he know that I know, that the lower science they deal with is Christianity. The higher science is Islam, and he a preacher, and he wear the fez. And you're not sharing this wisdom with your people. So in your Masonic house, y'all talking about something. So in your Masonic house, is it your potentate or is it the creator? Because I'm a God man. It's nothing outside of myself. I tell everybody the type of science I'm under. I tell you this. So I'm not gonna take no oath. I'm not gonna twist you. I'm not gonna have no potentate over me. You're not gonna have no potentate over you. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. I'm just a map and a guide. I'm teaching you the same skills that I have, and even greater, the work that can be done. And so when it's dealing with us as a people, y'all, and when we dealing with when we dealing with all our brothers and sisters that stand on these podiums, my brothers and sisters, especially that you got your little melanated son, and these people telling your kid they black and they African American and they Negroes and they came over here on some boat, that's sad as hell. And they're not telling you that you are the tribal people, that you tribal people. I'm not saying there wasn't no people that came over here on no boat. It was a small tittle of people. I'm telling y'all. And if y'all want the book, The One World Tartarian, all you got to do is send me a small donation. I'll send you the PDF. And if you want it printed and binded, go to Office Max and Staples. They'll print it and bind it for you. And you read in there, and you go to the chapter where it's showing you this Moorish history and this Tartary history, and it'll show you how that whole slave trade didn't even go like that. And the Royal Archives show you everything. All the government, the libraries will show you that it's folly. You know, it's folly. And we continue with the games. We can't continue to let our children believe that. You know? We can't. It's there. The history is there for our children. And if they knew the rich history of who we are, when you start fact checking things, when you tell your kids, tell them to get in an 1828 Webster dictionary and look up the word American and see what American is. See what American is. When you get Vladimir Darrell's 1868 dictionary explaining of what an ARAP, an ARAP consists of, not an ARAB, see what you see. You get the book The Arab by Bertram Thomas and see who he show you what the Arab is. And then you will start having a different concept. It's another book, I forget, by Adar, to show you what the so-called Indian is, the Israelite. Hell, you get the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon is going to tell you who the Israelite is, the true Israelite, because the Book of Mormon was plagiarized from the ancient book, The View of the Hebrews. See, these are just things that can't be denied. You know, no matter how you feel. All through history in first century, all monuments look like you. That's why a lot of, no disrespect again, that's why a lot of Europeans, Albions, Tralodike, as they tarry from the Aegean Sea to the Exxon Sea and to areas, and they got to the continent of Africa and all these other areas where they saw these monuments and why they destroyed the noses and things. Why you think? Because it gave them the resemblance. Even when you deal with the Olmec, even when you deal with when you go to other areas, when you see the Guantanamo that sits on the seven serpents, and it all look melanated, and when I start showing you all this stuff, because it's all going to relay back to your science. It's no disrespect to no one. It's always been death of the misnomer Black Messiah. Always. Always. It always has something to do with this right here. And once we have a clear understanding collectively how to operate, I think nothing can be done. Because, you know, when it was, how can I say, popular to speak on these certain concepts and these certain ideas of more, this and that, what people were doing was trying to sell people packages and things and that or the other, and get out of jail free cards and travel documents and all those things, which is cosmetic. Everything, what I'm saying about who we are and things can be looked up. Things has been filed. Then anything that I'm talking about is precedent in law, history, research, and then the library, the extensive library that we have, the peer-reviewed library that we have is unpregnable, as Tyson would say. It's unmatched. And I know this for a fact. I know this. Why? Because I have over 1 million documents, and I'm not just tooting my horn. I have over 1 million books and documents that I have converted to PDF. I have physical libraries, storage units with hundreds and hundreds of books and documents in all facets of history, law, civics, science, spirituality, antebellum, magic, you know, all dispensations of history. And when we dealing with this concept of nationality, brothers and sisters, and who we are, and dealing with using words that's synonymous to slavery, you, it's not too much I can say about that. You know, it's not too much I can say. I can even and when and I fact check something else, brother Thurman. I wish I had the book with me, but the book is called The Chosen One, and in the book it got Winworth Matthews and them, and they got the more Zionist Jews, the Asiat, the more Zionist Jews of the more Zionist church, and you see Winworth Matthews with his Jewish stole with his fez on, and then I can show you in a picture Abdullah. You can research Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard was this European that was a heavy thinker that all Europeans and everybody was like, yes, but he was educated by Abdullah, the Ethiopian rabbi. And in that book, you will see Abdullah with the turban on, and the caption will say, turbans was worn by the magical workers of the East, by the black men in the church, by the spiritual workers, the magical workers of the East. It said turbans was worn by the black men, the spiritual workers in the church, in the church, in the church, in the church, the spiritual workers, because they were spiritual men. They dealt with the higher science. I'm telling you, they had parades, everything. They spoke Arabic, they spoke Hebrew, Paleo, and it showed you during the time period back then that that's when you go in the book, the Negro is the blackamoor, and you see the conference and you see the prophet with all those different nations, and that created the Moorish Science Temple of America. All the different secret societies, the different brothers and sisters. But what I'm telling you is that concept of Winworth Matthews and them, the Moorish Zionist Jews, the Moorish Zionist Jews. It didn't say Moorish Zionist Muslims. I'm just stating facts. So what I'm saying is when I operate, I'm not no Al-Islam Muslim. I'm not I don't believe nothing outside of myself. I don't believe when I die I'm gonna have some 17. I don't believe that. I don't believe that just because if you're not a Muslim, you the scum of the earth. You know, when I say Islam, that's I, self, law, and master. Arm, leg, arm, head. I understand concepts. I'm under the triple rose. And so as I close, man, I just want brothers and sisters to let's come on in, man. Hit me up, get some wisdom. Support your brother. Get some of my books. And like one of my homies hit me up, and Thurman, I'm not gonna say no name, but you probably gonna know this because you know me and we from the city of Flint. He says, she, isn't it sad that people will support this brother that done wrote this book? And I'm just telling you what people say to me, talking about these are the ways you can sit at home and get rich. And this Negro ain't rich. He was like, ain't this the same Negro that had that was trying to get everybody in that pyramid scheme and all this? And I said, that's what you say. I know he came over my house, but I shut stuff down because you can't get me with no crap. Are you rich? No. Well, how can you talk to me about being rich and you not rich? And what rich person gonna write a book to tell you how to get rich like them? You'll flood the market. It don't work like that. And so all I'm saying, if y'all, into the science or things, go on my web page, my company, and purchase one of my PDF books, or my other company, and buy the hard copy. It's mypdfbooks.com, my PDF books. That's books with a Z, and download a couple of my books for a certain price and some other books to your tablets for you can travel and read with them, and come to class, and I'll give you some more stuff just for supporting your brother. Come to class, come to Sunday school. Ask some questions because you shouldn't have to assume nothing. You should know. You should want to know. And I'm telling you, you're not Negro, Black, or color, or African American. And if anybody pushing that agenda, they have to be, it's something got to be wrong with their mental. And to be so passionate about that and say that that whatever we have and reparations and all this is connected to blackness, and I would ask that individual, how, sir or ma'am, how do you think that a slave going to get some reparations? How do you think? Explain that to me. Explain that to me. You haven't, and like I told homie I went to school with, I said, brother, I'm not disrespecting you, but I'm telling you, y'all having all these and trying to get people to come to these meetings, and you're gonna have me come, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel about it. No person that identify as black is gonna get no reparations. According to science and law, black means death, civil mortis. So what are we talking about? And well, we black people, we vote, we Democrats. Okay, so what's the black Democrat agenda? Anybody that's a Democrat on here and I say we black and all this, what is the black agenda for the Democrat? That's all I'm asking anybody. And if anybody can give me something that makes sense, I'll be willing to say it makes sense. And just like a lot of my brothers that say they vote for Donald Trump, and the only reason why they say they vote for Donald Trump is they talk about some PPP loan and not nothing else. Give me some stats. Give me something that's valid instead of just give me speaking points because we being silly, which most Negroes do. They don't give you no real history or no real stats because they really not into politics. Give me something real instead of something that you just gonna regurgitate or being goofy, which a whole bunch of Negroes do. And I wait, and no one can give me nothing. The only thing that Negro gave me was he would talk about some PPP loan. And we got the PPP loan. I said, dude, so you think Trump wrote the check for the PPP loan? Yeah, I said, you retired it. And that ain't no disrespect, and I don't have a dog in a fight, but I said, if you thought for 1 second, sir, that Donald Trump wrote a check, some PPP loan, you stupid. And that's all that I'm saying on that. I'm not saying who to vote for and what to do, but I'm saying if you thought that, you stupid. And then when I ask people what's the so-called black Democrat agenda, and then when you really, really have some sense and you really say it ain't one, and I say I know it ain't one. So what you talking about then? And that's all I'll be asking people. Because you can't tell me the black agenda. Because if you're a black Democrat and you saying we black, we Democrats, and the reason why we vote Democrat because we black, okay, well show me the black agenda. Because there should be some things contingent on getting your vote. I would hope it's an agenda. So any of my brothers and sisters that vote Democratic, that's on here, when I be asking them, I'll be like, so what is the what is it? What's the Democrat agenda? Can anybody tell me any bullet points of it? Like I said, I'm not here to argue. I'm here to have to come to common ground. Can anybody tell me the black Democratic agenda? Those that voted Democrat. Not looking some stuff up real fast to try to I gotta let me look up something, because don't do that now. Those that's Democrat, what made you vote Democrat? Anybody on here, can you explain that? Because you should. It's just like you can explain why you went to a college, or why you chose your wife, or why you chose the car that you drive in, or why you chose the neighborhood, or why you chose the profession that you're in. Can anybody? I'll wait. That's all I'll be asking. and I be getting crickets. I say, just tell me the black agenda. Everybody be talking about the black vote and put it specific on the black vote. And I say, okay, so what's the black agenda? And then the person that's running for the office, a CEO or president, they'll tell you that they don't have an agenda. But the European Democrat clearly said out his mouth that you're not black if you don't vote for him. So why didn't the misnumbered black lady that say she black, why she didn't say the same thing? Hell, have enough balls to say, hell, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. Hey, I bet you be. Hey, 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 man, come on. Think about it though. Think about it, man. Just think about it. Think about it. What's the black agenda? Do anybody know the black agenda? Cause I know the black agenda. I'm gonna tell you. Do anybody right here on here? Can y'all tell me the black agenda? I'll wait a couple more seconds. Cause I'm gonna tell you what the black agenda is. Do anybody know? And if you vote a Democrat, what are you expecting? What are you expecting for casting your vote as Democrat? What are you expecting? Because you want me to tell you what the Democrats got and what the black vote got or going to receive? The same thing that they've been receiving. What? Welfare. Welfare, Section 8. The damn government phones. I'm telling you, cheap housing. You go to the neighborhoods. Only in the urban neighborhoods you have houses that have been abandoned forever and burnt up houses next to somewhere somebody stay. Think about what I'm saying. That's what black people get. What the left, the scum, the scraps. They give them scraps. And it's all I be asking people. And they be huffing and puffing, talk about, and they said, we black people and we Democrat. Okay, so if we black people, so that means it's an agenda. Because if you put a people in a certain group, I will hope those group of people have an agenda. I will hope. It's only logical. How can you not have influence over people and call yourself a group of people and you don't have some type of demands or some type of agenda for the person that's going to be governing not only you, but the people that's important to you and your community and a certain, not only the area, but the so-called world? Huh? Duh. It's just like with mayor. It's just like with city council. I told y'all how this worked. We got what in the city of Flint. Gotta call you back. In the city of Flint, I know how I go. They got Liddell Lewis as the council president, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a popularity vote. Just like I told y'all, the city of Dalton, and they got Tiffany Hannard, the misnumbered black lady that's just ruined the city. But when you look at the facts of the matter, and you see the people that voted, and everybody didn't vote, you ain't got nothing to say. Because if everybody would have voted that didn't like her or knew she wasn't competent or wasn't qualified, it wouldn't have happened. So I just want to be clear with that, man, brothers and sisters. We're not Negro, Black, or African American. Hell, y'all should watch the film by I can't even think of his name. His name is James Baldwin. I'm Not Your Negro. James Baldwin. Peace, Noble Drayshawn. James Baldwin. I'm Not Your Negro. Check that out. Yep, James Baldwin. That's what my noble said. James Baldwin. Yep. And I'm telling y'all, man, these are just things that you can. We're not coming from no disrespect. Think about this, and this is a yes or no question. Did the European Jews fight for their European Jewish nationality? Yes or no? And if you say anything about a European Jew is anti-Semitic, yes or no? You can say yeah. So why not you then? Why nobody don't wrap around the sound of my voice? Why not? Why not? Because we Moors on paper. We Moorish Americans on paper. I understand you might be in your clique or your culture, but on paper, lawfully, we got to say that we Moorish Americans. What type of Americans we are? We Moors. We got to understand that. We got to understand that. I'm talking about lawfully. I ain't talking about what you believe in. I'm talking about lawfully to be a people. To be a people, we have to understand who we are as a group of people, as a body. And once we understand that, once we understand the science of what we under and be accepted in all houses, we don't diss nothing. I can't be accepted in European houses and not accepted in my brother's houses. I can't be. I can't be, y'all. That don't even make sense. Other people can't understand me and call me Melchizedek, and my own people don't do that. And I don't get the same love with my own people. It seems like it'd be vice versa if I got all the love from my people and Europeans say I'm racist or something, but it don't even be like that because everything that I'm saying can be checked. I'm not operating on no color spectrum. I don't hate the misnomer a different man. I know the Creator created all man. The Creator created all man. Ain't no big head scientist create no one. Don't, that's just like saying somebody got more power than the Creator. And nobody has more power than the Creator. The Creator created the red bird, the bluebird, me, you, all different shades of melanin. No way in hell I'm gonna limit the power to the Creator to be biased for a religion. I don't rock like that. I operate on science. Operate on the closest place to find God or Allah is in my heart. So my heart must be pure. This is what I'm saying. And so my people, my brothers and sisters, y'all have to understand my voice. Brothers and sisters, you should want to see yourself resurrected with a turban and a fez on because this is who it is. Yeah, Noble. Yeah, Drayshawn, the big head scientist. And I mean, and a lot of stuff just don't it just don't line up. And you start dealing with mythology, you know, mixed in with Scientology and those concepts. And we don't want to be honest with these things because we like characters. It ain't about a character thing, it's about a people thing. And this what I try to tell my brothers and sisters. I try to tell them this all day long. Don't let these people get you caught up like no Islam Muslim and be on some black and white hate thing. That's because that is not more science. That is not. That ain't got nothing to do with more science. In more science don't say no white man, no devil. Nowhere in more science to say no white man, no devil. Because we don't operate on that. We talk about the higher and the lower self. And that has nothing to do with color. It's so much that need to be discussed and be displayed so we can operate on the big picture. And the big picture, brothers and sisters, is that you're not a Negro, Black, or color, or African American. You're not. You have a rich history. Your fez, your turban, it means something. Your kufi, your bonnet, it means something. You are a free man. I broke this down the other day. In magazines, Imazighen. That means free men. That's ancient. The Moors, the Berbers, the Amazighes, the Amazighen, the Amazigh. That's their endonym, the name that the people call themselves and the language. Naming yourself. Come on, brothers and sisters. We should not be teaching our children that we some slaves off and we all came from some Africa. That's sad. And you should not be teaching your kids this because that's going to be jammed down their throat. And when I show y'all this rich history, when I tell y'all about the one world Tartarians, when I show y'all, no disrespect, white cargo, and they were white and they were slaves, it's not to belittle no one, but if a person, the European Albion Troglodyte or misnomer Negro, every time of the year they want to talk about slavery and all this, and you be like, well, let's talk about when we were free, and let's talk about your rich history and the golden age of the Moors. You don't want to talk about all that. Only time you're gonna talk about is a small part of history when a certain people came from a certain area, but we're not gonna talk about all this time. You're not gonna bring up the one world Tartarians and the Tartars and bring up that history and ask them about all that and then show them history that's in the slave archives. Well, what about this? Well, they'd be quiet and you would hear a pin drop and you can start fact checking stuff because the problem is with a lot of misnomer black people, African Americans, Negroes, is we don't have the information. It's nothing hidden from you. You just haven't been introduced to the information, brothers and sisters, and that's the facts. It's nothing new under the sun. It's nothing new under the sun, and it's nothing hidden from you. You just haven't been introduced to the information. But I'm the information right here. I put the work in. I only could talk about what I know. I've been battle tested. I've been in the lion's den. And now it's time for all my brothers and sisters to stand up and arise. The kumbaya, to stand up and arise. So once again, brothers and sisters, I love y'all, man. I give y'all gratitude. I give y'all honor for taking time out y'all day or y'all night, if it's nighttime out here in Flint. But any of my people, man, I'm going to be here for a few more days. Let's link up, man. Let's link up. If any speaking engagement, hit me up. If y'all need books, if y'all need wisdom, if you don't have my books, get with me for you can have them on your shelves, for you can read them. If you don't know what I have on my head, and you want to know the history of the turban and the history of the fez and all that stuff and the bonnet and what we wear in our culture, I want you to know. If you don't know what Moorish science consists of, I want you to know. If you don't know what I represent, I want you to know. If you don't know the history and the laws that govern the world, I want you to know so you can make a sound decision because now is the time of the essence, man. We must operate as a people. We can't let religion keep us separated. We have a rich culture, and you're not Negro, Black, or color, or African American. You are not. You are not Negro, Black, or color, or African American. None of those things. None of those things. And so when people keeping up with this black stuff, it's just sad because black has no standing in law. It's silver mortis. And it can't be no black agenda. We talk about we Democrats and we Democrats, we vote, we blacks, we black Democrats. And so I say, okay, well, black Democrats, what's the black Democrat agenda? And nobody can give me none. None. I've been asking this for a long time. I know. It's none. It's nothing. Oh, so you telling me if somebody wants your vote or you gonna vote for somebody, it ain't contingent on some things that you agree with or contingent on some things that you have in mind for the body and for the group of your people, for y'all voting. It's some things that you want done or some things that you want to be able to have some say so in for your vote, especially if that's allowed, especially if that can happen. Yeah, those things need to be agreed upon. And these are just facts, y'all. It's no black agenda. It can't be one. If you think that, and you letting these misnomer black people and all these politicians and all these people with these nonprofits that talk that black stuff and we helping black people, sad day, y'all. No disrespect to no one. And those people is not gonna have no conversation. And they think they winning. Why? Because they getting welfare. And they think they winning. Because they getting welfare. But then you not black people not gonna get no reparations. And it's just what it is. Black people not gonna get no reparations. So that reparations now stuff, you can kill it. And if anybody wanna have a good discussion, or you know somebody talk about, oh yeah, well black people, we gonna get this, and when black people gonna get reparations, I'm telling you, no they not, and they lying to you. and they getting their hopes up high for no reason. No black person that's a slave going to get nothing, and the only people that's going to get any reparation, no matter if it's in the form of monetary or money, because that's what we're talking about. Only people going to get that is the person that created the slave. And if anybody got a problem with that, you take it up with the courts. It's just a fact. Any questions? If we don't have any questions, once again, man, I love y'all. Please support our temple and school. Check out our companies. Check out MoorishHaberdasher.com, mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z. MoorishHaberdasher.com, BindingBooks.com, ALO Design Pros, BHB Music Group, and check out our Temple and School webpage, bbtsciencetemple.com, or send me an email, my personal email, Goodman, KHARY, @gmail.com. That's Goodman, GOODMAN, KHARY, @gmail.com. My office number, which is my cell phone. I have 2 cell phones, but if you serious and you want information or you're trying to support, I will get with you. But if you just talking crazy, I'm gonna block you. My office number to my cell is 602-473-8767. And once again, man, I give y'all gratitude and I give y'all love. Tune in for Friday. We be having our book reading. I think we do it at what? 9 Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 p.m. Arizona time. And Saturday we be having a adapt class at 10:30 Arizona time. So that's 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. So that's 1:30 Eastern time. And then Sunday school, we be having it at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So once again, man, if y'all, interested in inquiring, hit me up. You want any regalia? You want to learn how to tie your turban? If you want a fez, if you want to learn, if you want to come to class and be my guest in StreamYard, hit me up. I would love for you to be my guest. If you purchase one of my books, I'll give you a couple other of my books and more because I want to help you. And I'm always have gratitude when people support me and donate to our ministry. So once again, man, I give y'all love. I give y'all truth. I give y'all peace. I give you freedom. I give you justice. And remember, man, you are not Negro, black in color, or African American. Remember that. Peace. Oops.